Hey, thank you for coming to my show. I think you'll hear something today that makes you click that like button, share with your people, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Let's stay connected. Tell me what you think in the
Great.
comments. Well, thank you for joining us here at Our Unseen Roots. Today we are here with Eva Coley, community activist here in Evanston, Illinois. And I want to say thank you, Eva, for being with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. The way I like to start off on my podcast is, who are you?
Who am I? I'm an 80, almost 81-year-old African American woman that's very proud. I'm. Some people say I'm very arrogant. I'm very committed to what I do. I have a passion for helping. I have a passion for trying to get things right. As old as I am, some of the battles that we're doing out here, I've been fighting for a long, long time. And I just feel that you just have to keep on pushing. And I'm one of those people that'll keep on pushing. I don't have any problem telling you how I feel, but I also don't have a problem admitting if I'm wrong. So my son says, when something's going on, he says, I can tell something you don't like because you're looking over those glasses. What is it? You know? And even the people in the church now know that. So I'm just a passionate individual. When I'm committed, I'm committed.
Yeah.
And that sums it up.
I feel the passion in that one answer, so I'm excited for that. What has been the life-forming incident in your life?
You know, someone else asked me that. I was a foster child. So I had a real strict foster mother. I was fortunate that my foster mother spent the state money on us. You know, I wasn't one of those state kids that didn't have anything, but we had very little. She was not community in the community. She didn't believe, you know, she didn't do all of that. So I really don't know where I picked up this need to work, to help, to be driven. I've thought about it and I've been doing it since I was in high school. So it's just something that's inside of me that just came out, and I've been doing it ever since.
Mm.
So I don't know if there's one defining instant. I can't say there is.
As a Black woman, what is your greatest superpower?
Me. My greatest superpower. I think I do say me, but I also think my superpower involves other people because I can't do what me wants to do if I can't bring others along. So it's those people out there that help me do what I want to do or I feel that's needed to do. So my superpower is me and those that help me.
Mhm, mhm. What is special about you that makes you your superpower?
I just never give up.
Mm.
I can't sit still. Um, and I try. I really try. I say I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. And I was sick a couple of weeks ago and had to be in the house for 3 days. I almost went crazy. And I was sick. I mean, I couldn't do anything. But it's like by the time 4 days passed, I was like, I got to go outside. I got to do something. So I don't know. It's just something in me.
Yeah, yeah. You said you're 81 years old. You look beautiful for 81 years
Okay,
old. You must,
I'll be 81 in September.
so you were, what are you doing so right? What's your secret?
I don't know, feisty. I think I keep moving. I keep moving.
Yeah.
You know, that's not to say that things haven't been hard
Mhm.
and sometimes you get down, but I just keep it moving.
Yeah. What nourishes you?
My kids, my grandkids, my great grandkids. Although I would say that sometimes I know I get on their nerves because I'm so old school. But they nourish me. Some of the people I work with in the community nourish me. I have people that when they think I'm wrong, they tell me, and we can agree to disagree and move on and keep on pushing. So I think all of that nourishes me, especially when something I want to get done is happening and it's accomplished, and it's successful, regardless of what it is. If it's cooking the breakfast for the homeless that I do all the time. When I see that meal that we take out, okay, boom, they got another meal and they can eat. And I got time to think about 2 days from now when we have to do food again. So my accomplishments nourish me.
And the homeless that you feed and nourish, how do you see the gratitude? Because a lot of people think, oh, these people, they don't have a home, they're this, they're that. But in my experience, I've found that a lot of the homeless people or disenfranchised, however you want to say it, they're really compassionate, really nice, and really thoughtful, especially if there are no mental hiccups or mental handicaps. Is that your experience?
Yeah, let me tell you, I don't judge the homeless, and a lot of people do. A lot of people do. There's various reasons why people are out there in the street. I remember when I lived in California, there was this lady that was homeless, and but when you talked to her, she was proper. You could tell she had a good upbringing, but I don't know if it was mental issues, because she could talk to you about the local news, the national news, and the good folks in us wanted to, try to put her in an apartment. We would get her apartment, the Deltas, we would get together, get her apartment, and a week later she was out. We finally decided some of these people just can't adjust to real structure. You have to leave them alone and don't judge them and do what you can to help them. And somebody set her afire and she died. And I think ever since then, I have been like, you cannot judge homeless people. You just have to do what you can to help them. We do work with connections, and we do Hilda's Place. I really don't see them. We take them to food. We find, we do get feedback of whether or not, like, if they like something or they don't like something. And I know one person on my committee said, well, what do you mean they don't like it? And I said, so they don't like it. You don't like everything. So they don't like this meal. We don't do it anymore. So I guess to say you're not doing it for gratitude. Yeah. You're doing it because you feel it's something that needs to be done. And the homeless situation is getting worse. And I don't know the real reason for that, but it's becoming a hot button issue right now. And I don't think it's going to get any pretty before it gets solved. I really don't. I hope that answered your question.
No, that definitely answered my question. And you are right, it is getting worse. And the only thing we can say, hopefully it's getting worse because it's going to get better. And the only big question is, when will it get better? But you're right, it's getting worse. Who has helped you become the woman you are today?
I think various individuals that I've worked with over the years in high school. I went to Morgan Park High School. And when I went to Morgan Park High School, the high school was like on a hill almost. Black kids could go in the front, but you couldn't go out the back because that was the white neighborhood. And there was this white assistant principal who first, I think, got me started on thinking about community and future. There was a fight, and he came to me and said he had noticed that I was standing there and I was trying to talk to somebody, and he thought that I could help bring some calm to the school between the Black and the white kids. And we formed a group. I think that was the first person that got me involved. And then over the years, there's been other people. Delta for sure. And I didn't become a Delta until, I was over 30 years old when I became a Delta. So, and it was like somebody saw me doing something in the community and said, hey, let me talk to you about Delta. So Delta has really nourished me and brought me along. And then I'll say that people in my church. So a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you feel like now that you are a Delta and you know what Delta's about, do you feel like you were a Delta all along and just was waiting for the opportunity to meet the, well, say that luck is opportunity meeting, um, um, or opportunity plus work equals luck. Do you believe that you were a Delta all your life and was just waiting for that opportunity without knowing it?
No. I didn't even know what a Delta was until the lady came. When I went to school, because I was a foster kid, we had to hustle. I went to school. I didn't think about sororities. I really did not know what Delta Sigma Theta was until
Yeah.
this lady came up and said something to me. So I'm saying no, I don't think I was. But then maybe now that you asked that question, maybe that is true. Because once I became a Delta, it was like in with both feet, no stopping. I have held every position that there is in Delta. I have been president of Delta 3 times.
Hmm.
I am social action chair, and I've been that in California. I was social action chair. I'm social action chair here, although I am thinking it might be time to, pass it along. So you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I was sitting back waiting and didn't really understand that Delta was calling, and one day I was gonna answer.
Yeah. I only say it because my wife's a Delta, my mother-in-law's a Delta, and I like you didn't really know what Delta was until I was introduced to it. And I looked at all these women who are Deltas and the things that they're doing in the community. And I'm thinking, my goodness, they must have been doing this all their life without realizing it, because it's not something that you just do on your own. You know what I mean? Some people do, some people don't. But if you're doing the work, there is an organization for you. And in the sorority life, it seems like Deltas do that community work. That is just what it is. So
And you
just
can,
maybe.
and when you're a Delta and you do community work, it does fall over into other things. Look, in the church, okay, in Foster Senior Club, in NAACP. So, and one of the things about Delta, when you become a Delta, and especially if you've been an officer, you pick up skills. You pick up skills. You can read people. You can do administrative things, and there's not a whole lot that gets by you. At least not me. You know. Um, so what can I say? But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Do you believe you were living in your purpose? Why or why not?
I must be living in my purpose, because if I wasn't, I would sit down and do nothing. So my purpose must be to be out here and do as much as I can to right some of the wrongs or help people understand what they need to do. One of my passions right now is the fact that although I have to take my Delta hat off when I talk politics, because we're supposed to be nonpartisan. But right now, my thing is people need to understand that November is coming, and it's very, 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 very critical. Our young Black men need to understand. I'm so tired of hearing young Black men say, ain't no need to be voting, it ain't gonna do no good, or I'm not voting. That just absolutely aggravates me. It aggravates me, but yet I don't have a solution on how to convince them that it's important.
It is tremendously important to get out and vote. It's so much so that my oldest son is 18 now, and I've been taking him to the voting polls for at least 4 years, just so that he can see the process. My youngest is 9. I've been taking him to the voting polls for the last 3 years so that he can see the process. So many people, so many of our people have died for the right to vote. And it's just, to me, it's a shame that we would even think, oh, well, my vote doesn't count. If you don't think your vote counts, don't start at the national level. Start at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I always say. Start at the local level, make your change there, and see what happens. But you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What do you wish you had more of in your life?
More sometimes more free time.
Mm.
More free time. I'm an arts and crafts on top of everything else. And I'm finding that I'm having less and less time to do arts and crafts because I've got myself so involved in other things. So I think, yeah, some free time to just do me or just do arts and crafts.
Oh, quick question. I want to go back a little bit. The teacher at Morgan Park High School, what do you think he saw in you to approach you to be the sort of liaison between the two, black and white students?
I think he thought I was tough. I think he thought I was unafraid. And I think he picked up on, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Like it or don't like it. Because I've always been that way.
Yeah.
I've always been that way. A lot of people say, in fact, I just had an incident not too long ago where someone said something to me and I kind of snapped at her because I felt she was lying. And I called her out. Oh, that didn't go over too well with a lot of other people, but I didn't care. I'm going to tell you what I think. Yeah. And you're not going to lie to me and get away with it if I know it. And so I'm just, your wife will tell you the same thing.
Oh, she has. She has. She has. That's why I'm loving this interview.
And Ensa calls me Mama Coley. And they know, something's going on. They be like, Mama Coley, what you got to say? So, and I think that's a compliment. I don't take that negatively. I really think that's a compliment. And maybe it's because of my age, and maybe because they realize that I have been around and I have been a Delta and I've done everything. Of course, things are changing, but I do try to keep up with the changes and whatnot. I may be old school in some things, but I believe progress you have to stay on top of.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was also thinking you may be old school, but you are changing with the times, and not so much so that you are not still old school. And I think your sorors respect that and notice that,
Yeah, and I have this face that if I don't like something, it's on my face, and I have started to have to turn my video off because that's another thing. It was like, well, your face said you wasn't gonna do it. I was like, oh, you gonna base something on my face? So now I try to watch it, but you know what? I'm 80-something years old. If I ain't been able to control the face by now, it's not gonna happen. So I just flip the video off.
Not only that, you've earned the right. You've earned the right.
Yeah. And maybe sometimes I can deliver the message a little different.
Yeah. What would it look like if you were doing only what you wanted to be doing right now in your life?
Some people might say it'd be boring. I'd be sitting here at my computer designing sweatshirts and doing other arts and crafts. And I say that, but I bet if that was all I was doing every single day, I would be very bored. So maybe what it needs or what I need is even, we need to cut out some things so we can just do all we want evenly, if that makes any sense to you. Yeah, maybe one day a week I'll do arts and crafts and the other days I'll do, but especially if you're doing social work or political action work, you can't program that. You really can't program that. So you never know what's going to come up or what you feel like there's a need out there for you to do. So what would it look like if, I guess, just a few more days of arts and craft and leisure, and maybe some travel. I haven't been traveling. Maybe I would throw some travel in there. So. But wouldn't that be the ideal life? You could do arts and crafts, you could do community work, and you could travel. There's not a whole lot of people that have the luxury to do it just like that utopia picture kind of thing. So yeah. we do.
Yeah. And in that answer, I heard that you don't have to get ready because you stay ready.
I used to put that at the bottom of my emails. Believe it or not, I used to put that bottom. It was something like that. But yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
What are you most focused on right now?
Right now, I'm focusing on two things. We're having a virtual town hall next Tuesday on redistricting, why we should care. So that's like first and foremost at the top of my head. There's two things at the top of my head is that, and I have an AFR that I have to do for the NAACP that's driving me insane. and there's a due date for that. But those are my two main focuses right now. I want the town hall to be successful because I don't think people fully understand redistricting, what it can do. There's pros and cons, and that's what we're going to try to show people. And they need to understand that redistricting also can hurt you. And that's, and if you think about the world in general, a lot of that hurt is happening right now just by redistricting. So people need to understand it and pay attention to it. And that will be our goal for next Tuesday. Because it's happening here in Evanston.
Yeah, you're talking about the new District 6 or new Fifth Ward school that's coming, and the redistricting of the Fifth Ward to allow other ward school or other wards to come to the Fifth Ward
right.
school.
The maps have been redrawn. Everything is done, so the Fifth Ward school is another whole ooh, Lordy, that could take a whole hour to discuss that, but basically your neighborhoods are changing. Why are they changing? And you need to stay on top of it. And one of the ways you can stay on top of it, we could go back to why should you vote? You need to start watching the local politics and be aware and put people in that's going to help you. Yeah. So it's a full circle in a sense.
Yeah, it's interesting because I interviewed Audrey Thompson, the executive of the Parks and Rec, and she said the same thing. Get out and vote on your local level because you'll see changes once your voice is heard. She's tired of just listening to the same voices,
over and over again.
Yeah. And a quick follow-up. You said you had something to turn in for the NAACP. What is that? If you can share with us.
I'm treasurer for the NAACP, and they have a yearly audit, and it's digital and whatnot. But you have to, when you do an audit, you got to balance. Mm-hmm. And right now, I'm not balancing, and my days it's due on the 1st of March, so I'm not balancing. So I'm losing a lot of sleep.
Yeah. What is the importance of the NAACP today? I ask because we can look back, I don't know, 40, 50 years, 70 years, and they say, oh, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, they can name names, and they can say, oh, they're doing this, that, and the third. But when you fast forward to today, I don't know if people really realize what the NAACP is doing for us today.
Okay, so this is
I know you're gonna shoot it straight, so go ahead and shoot us.
So when I lived in California, I was on the executive board for the NAACP, and I handled complaints, and I did a lot of things with the NAACP. I think the NAACP in Evanston is different than the NAACP that was in California when I was in California. However, I think there's certain people in the NAACP that really is trying to carry out the mission of the NAACP, which is equal justice, if you want to just put it in 2 words. I do think there's people out there. However, I don't think I just don't think we impact the community like we used to. But then I could say that about the churches also. I have said that at a meeting not too long ago about the churches. We no longer have that passion when it comes to things like the NAACP. Willie Shaw is all over the place with her civic engagement. If you want to know something about the real community stuff in the NAACP, that's the person to go to. Now, I'm not knocking Reverend Neighbors. He does his thing also. But where is the 10,000 people that used to be in the NAACP that's out there in the streets all the time doing what they're supposed to be doing to help us get equal justice? I don't think we see that like we used to. And I think several people in the branch keep trying. They keep trying, and maybe it goes back to that apathy, but then it's the same thing. And you didn't ask me about this, but I'm passionate about the fact that I don't think our Black churches do what they used to do. The Black churches used to be the center point for anything civil rights that was going on. I don't believe we're doing that anymore. I just don't. Why? I think because we're all so busy. We're all so busy. And I don't know the answer to that, but that's my feeling. Yeah. That's my feeling. You know, if there was something going wrong, go to the church. You know, back in Martin Luther King's day, every time there was something, where was it? At the church. The folks gathered at the church to determine what their next step was going to be. And it didn't necessarily have to do about money.
So true. So true. Who are your co-conspirators? The people that work with you to meet the challenges facing you?
My social action committee in Delta, for sure. I'll go by organization. So in the NAACP, I work with Willie. I work with the secretary. As a treasurer, I have a unique position, you know. So I can get anybody to work with me because I'm treasurer, and I can work with anybody. I don't have to have a favorite or anything. So I can do whatever I want in the NAACP to help others. I have no special program in the NAACP other than watching their money and fussing at them when they don't do the right thing as far as turning in paperwork. In church, it's the people that work with me on my hospitality committee. I'm chair of the hospitality committee at church, and we do Hilda's Place. And we also, if there's something happening at the church, some kind of event, we're in charge of that, doing the decoration. So it's those people that work on my committees that help me, because I could not do most of what I do without them. And then, of course, there's my family. My son and my daughter-in-law know if there's something going on, guess what? You're going to have to help. And then my other son is in North Carolina, and he's an E-man. And I talk to him a lot about different things, because he may be Muslim, but he's very inclusive. And that's his whole goal. So those are the people that help me do what I do. Yeah, I don't do it, like they say on the, you see a person getting an Oscar or Grammy. I like to thank all those folks because, without them, I wouldn't be here. But that's true. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah. It sounds like the NAACP has the right person watching their money.
I don't know. I'm also financial secretary for Delta, and it's like, oh Lord, I'd be so glad when my time has come. It's time to pass that on to somebody else. Time to pass that on. Watching people's money is not easy.
Yeah. How did it make you feel when you were honored from the NAACP? Was it not even a year ago, right? It was a few months ago.
I was very, very surprised. In fact, I had known about it because they figured that out almost 9-10 months ahead of time. And I just never told nobody because I was just like amazed.
Yeah. What can your community do to support you?
We could come together and figure out a way to work together instead of tearing each other up. I think if we could come together, do you know what Black people could do if they could come together and work? My God, the things that we could do. A typical example of what we as Black people do is, I don't know if you followed Fannie Willis's thing yesterday. She's the DA. She's under investigation because a Black woman, her best friend, started that. That's what we do to one another. We tear each other up. And until we stop doing that, we're not going to, in my opinion, we're pedaling we're going 2 steps forward and 4 steps backwards because we're so busy tearing each other down.
Yeah. There's a rap artist, Ice Cube.
Oh, yeah.
A while back, he said, the Black community is too full of jealousy and envy. And you just said it. Until we can eradicate that, that is going to be our downfall. Because we've already seen the power, our power. I mean, Black Wall Street. We've seen it. There have been countless examples.
I
But until
know.
we get that unity thing together, you're right. You're so
I
right.
what was Super Bowl Sunday, and what's his name? Matt Gaetz
Mhm.
said that he wasn't going to go to watch the Super Bowl because they were singing the Black national anthem. And I'm on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook like I used to be, but because usually when I'm out there on Facebook, it's either arts and crafts or I got something to say political. I just couldn't resist. I was like, okay, so I put on Facebook something to the effect. I don't usually cuss on Facebook, but
Mhm.
folks can tell you I can let it rip in person. So I said something to the effect that when are the African Americans in Florida gonna come together and get rid of this and you figure out the rest. That goes back to what I just said.
Yeah.
There are how many Black people in Florida? Why can't you come together and vote people in that's not going to try to take away your rights?
Yeah.
Why are you moving to Texas when the governor there is taking away your rights? And I hear things like, well, there's no tag, it's cheaper there. Well, yeah, it may be cheaper there, but you don't have no rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it all goes back to we need to, and it's not going to get solved in my time, but we need to learn how to work together. We have a lot of Black people with a lot of money. We have a lot of Black people that maybe don't have a lot of money, but have a passion. If we could churn all of that together, we could do some wonderful things.
Yeah. It's so true. So true. What visions do you have for your community?
Visions that we learn to work together. It all goes back. We learn to work together. We have to be a force that we may disagree, but we have to come together to get what we want. We have to start working with our kids and not being afraid to say something to them because somebody might call the police or something. Our kids are out of control. Not all of them, because I don't want people beating me up, but a lot of them are out of control. We have to, we kind of need that village effect again. We've lost that village effect. Just like you said earlier, if you did something when you was growing up, you got your butt whipped. It was the same, even though I was a foster child. If we did something in the community, Lord have mercy, it was like, I'm going to tell Miss Edwards on you. And we knew. And then as a foster child, you was always scared that they would give you up if you got in trouble. So that was another thing that kept you in line. But we need to go back to that. We really do. I have discussions with my son about my great-grand. And he's like, well, Mom, I'm not their parent. I'm not their parent. Back in the day, grandmamas had a big say. Nowadays, grandmamas don't have a big say. You can say it, but nobody gonna pay attention to it.
Yeah. Well, that don't happen in my household. That does not happen in my household. My mother-in-law is still the boss.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say it happens that much in mine. My son and my daughter-in-law, Chris will tell me, Mom, what's wrong? I can see it. What did I do? Or what did somebody do? But I don't think it passes down to the other levels as much as it does to the first level of kids. But we'll keep working on that.
Yeah. It's important. It's very important for my wife and I that our son has a relationship with his grandparents and other family members as well, because I feel like family is everything. And he's not gonna always have us at his, beck and call, but he'd be able to reach out to someone else who's right there and loves him just as much, and that's important to us. So I feel like
if you're a great-grandparent, a grandparent, or a great-grandparent, and they need to understand that your time is passing and they're not going to be here for you. So you need to have a relationship with them, because after they're gone, it's too late.
So true.
How many people say, I never knew my grandmother, I never knew my grandfather. I didn't know mine, because I was a foster child. So it makes a difference. I met my grandmother. I was I grown? I was almost grown by the time I met my grandmother, and she lived here in Evanston.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, she lived on Church Street.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway,
Brings it all back. What does liberation look like for Black women?
I can get a job making as much as the top white man. I don't have to be worried about whether or not somebody's going to accuse me of sleeping my way to the top, or if I'm qualified. I got the same respect that he gets. Period. Question mark. That's liberation.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, let's stay connected.